It looks like we have Luke. Luke, are you there?
Luke Edwards. Yeah, Luke.
Hello.
Hi, Luke.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm sorry. I was trying to get my audio set up and stuff.
That's all right.
I do have a question. As a recent grad, I technically graduated in December, and um, I had a bunch of interviews during coming up in beginning of April, late March, and of course everything pretty much got canceled. Um, I was wondering, like, what should the next steps be? Should I continue to just, send out mass, I guess, emails to the same companies that I was talking to, or should I just go ahead and start applying to other places? So right now I'm kind of at, in between. Should I just go get a regular job right now, or should I, keep pushing for those jobs that I had interviews with? I sadly to say, I at the beginning of this pandemic, I contracted the virus, and so I just recently got out of quarantine. So that's the reason
Oh.
I'm just now like really applying again to a lot of places. So I'm not really sure what the next steps should be.
Wow. Sorry to hear
Well, I've
about
got it.
that, Luke.
Yeah, I was going to say, wow, man.
It's
Well,
fine.
yeah, good for you. Way to hang in there. Um, that had to be difficult. I've got a few thoughts for you, Luke. You'll want to write this down, carry it with you the rest of your life. It's important to stay top of mind. Top of mind. That's in your personal and your professional lives. And I won't get too personal with you, but think about that in your personal relationships, whether it's with your spouse or your children or your parents. But let them know you're thinking about them. Stay top of mind,
Okay.
and translate that now to your career, to the workforce. You're trying to find a job. You want to stay current with those folks, but you have to manage it. And this is purely discretionary on your part. You don't want to be a nuisance, but you do want to stay top of mind. So I would encourage you, maybe prioritize or rank the opportunities that you're pursuing by those with the greatest interest. And I would just set a schedule, maybe once a week, send a follow up. I wouldn't do it any more frequently than that because it can annoy you, annoy people. But in the meantime, I, I'm a little old fashioned, I suppose, but in the meantime, go get a job, any
Right.
job. Go
Okay.
get a job, and because, like I said earlier in the general session, currency comes in many forms, not just dollars.
Right.
And experience and contacts and networking and being able to work as a team and build relationships. And I mean it those things are invaluable forms of currency compensation, far beyond just the dollar. So with any luck, you'll have spent a few weeks or months, doing something meaningful that will make your transition into your career field, um, maybe a little easier and a little quicker. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mhm. I also heard that if you are currently working and you are searching for a job, you are much more marketable if you are currently working, whether it's in your field or not.
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
I like that. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
I think they're going to have us come out of their breakout rooms pretty quickly, but did you have any other questions, Luke, that you're wanting to pick George's brain about?
Um, Not any that just pop up in my head right now. I trying to think.
George, I've heard another career advisor talking about contacting someone every day, someone that they know, just to kind of, you're not like begging for a job, but trying to make the connection, maybe asking for some advice or something like that. Do you think that would be valuable?
Um, uh, sure, but I just wouldn't contact the same person every day,
Right.
right? But yes, if if you have a Rolodex that's, pretty healthy, sure. And again, you're not asking them for a job. You're asking them to connect you with someone who might connect you with a job.
Mm-hmm.
Just express, especially if you have a close personal relationship, you can just call and say, hey, I wonder if you might help me out. Here's what I'm looking to do. Do you know anyone in the field? Um, and if you do, would you mind passing along my information, or introducing me to them, and let me follow up with my information. So you're just basically asking for they call it a warm bridge. But yeah, every day, man, if you've got the time and you've got that depth in your contact list, sure.
Sounds great.
Luke, are you on LinkedIn?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Have you got your profile all updated and everything?
Yes, ma'am. I actually probably need to. I need to take a headshot, but I have to get a camera, get in front of a camera.
Are you local?
I'm actually in Michigan now. I just moved back, so
Okay.
I moved back right before the pandemic. Because of the interviews, I had a job in Findlay, and then I was looking to move back home. Hopefully, go to grad school somewhere local, stay at home, save some money, and everything pretty much came to a pause. So I'm kind of getting back into it, starting to reapply and stuff like that. So I'm just hoping for a call back right now.
George, do you use LinkedIn? Do you make use of that? Do you think
that is great advice? I'm a huge LinkedIn fan, and in fact, Cindy, this job with Atlas Oil, the search firm that they were using, found me on LinkedIn.
Oh, is that right?
I'm forever a LinkedIn fan and subscriber, and I actually hired a advisory firm to build my various pieces of my professional profile, a resume, a value graphic, the executive profile, and my LinkedIn profile. And I would encourage everyone to go through that process. Maybe not as a new grad, but someone like yourself, Cindy, I think it might be worth a couple dollars to have someone who's current in that space build your campaign materials for you. Because it took a couple of years, but it ultimately paid off for me. So yeah, LinkedIn's huge. It's the way of the world today.
Hi, Katrina.
Hi, I think we're switching rooms.
Did you switch, or are they switching you?
No, they switched me.
Oh.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
Hi, Justin.
Hi, Cindy. How you doing?
Great.
Good. So are we doing like a little rotation? Is that what's
I think
going
we are, yeah. And
Great.
I think, Luke, you can go ahead and start fielding your questions to Justin here. Round two.
Okay.
Sounds great.
I think I'm gonna keep the same question.
Okay.
Justin, I recently just moved back to Michigan, and right before the pandemic happened, because I had interviews and stuff lined up, and of course they all got canceled or postponed. Sadly to say, I contracted the virus during that time, and I'm recently just coming out of quarantine, and I was wondering what steps should I take towards should I go after those same positions, even though I'm not really hearing anything right now, or should I? I'm just not, I know right now I just need to find a job and, something, to be stable. But at the same time, I kind of want to go after my career goals and, go after that job that I had set out for. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Luke. Obviously, it's unprecedented times, and with disruption comes change, but there's also opportunity that always comes with disruption. I started my job in 2008, and shortly after there was the financial crisis, which you might be a little young to remember that, but it was devastating the financial industry, and they laid off a ton of people nationwide. And I ultimately thought potentially I was going to lose my job at 22 years old, but was one of the ones that was fortunate to stay on. So when you think about coming out of this, it's going to be an opportunistic time for those that are going to aggressively seek something, and it may not be what you had set out. You may have to take something just to get feet in the door and get started. But if I was you, I would definitely pursue those opportunities that were on the table and let them know that, hey, I'm still interested. Would love to re-engage you in those conversations, open those back up, obviously contingent on what that employer looks like. But I wouldn't let something slay. Again, I think, those that are going to be opportunistic and aggressive in this time are going to find opportunity, because there's going to be a lot of new industries created. There's going to be a lot of change that comes out of this. Someone like you who can work from home or work remotely or has a diverse skill set may be of interest to an employer that doesn't want to bring somebody back that wasn't as reliable. It's unfortunate for those people in those situations, but again, it's at this point you're going to have to do what you need to do best to give yourself the opportunity. I wouldn't be afraid to look for something. When I came out of college, I took a job in insurance, and I had no insurance background whatsoever. I didn't really want to be in insurance. I wanted to be in financial advisement or be a finance role. Kind of quasi in that space now, but ultimately it was just something that was on the table, and it was the right time for me. So you got to take chances. You got to take some risk. Don't be afraid to move. If something presents itself somewhere else, go get it. You can always come back. That was one of the best things I ever did, because I lived in Columbus for 7 years, and then the company offered me a job to move to Atlanta, and I was scared to do it. I didn't want to leave my friends, my family, and my girlfriend. And ultimately I did it, and it was the best thing I ever did for my career. And then 6 years later, with all that experience and all that knowledge, I moved back to Columbus and basically got to pay my way with what I really wanted to do long term. So, you got to take some risk, and you got to take some chances in times like this. And ultimately, it would be great for you long term. So with that being said, have you reached out to anyone at this time? It sounds like you probably haven't. Strategy to re-engage those conversations?
I've reached out to 3 of them again, and I really haven't set a strategy in terms of I guess getting reconnected with them. I not really, like I said, I really wasn't sure how to go about it because everyone's not necessarily open yet. A lot of people are working from home, so I wasn't sure how the process would go. I figured most people would do interviews through Zoom and stuff like that, but I don't know. I was just kind of just at a loss right now, trying to find my way. So,
yeah, I think the things are starting to shift a little bit, so it would be a good time to think about that. And one of the things I always tell people, Luke, is I've heard a lot of people speak over the years, and got about 60 seconds here. Heard a lot of people speak over the years, but one of the best speakers I ever heard was a gentleman by the name of Bo Eason, played in the NFL. And when he got done playing, he didn't really know what to do with himself. But you have to have a story, right? You've got a story, right? You develop it and pitch it to those people that they don't know you. They probably won't get the chance to really interact with you on a personal basis. So you've got to be able to come on, look at them through this screen, and differentiate yourself. Right? You've got your resume, you've got your experience. Those are all table stakes in the industry. I think you really need to have a story and say, I'm energetic, I'm eager, I'm young, I'm willing, I'm aggressive. I'll do whatever it takes, right? Just really refine that and sell yourself. You got to look up and look at the man in the mirror every single day. And you're ultimately going to be the one that drives your success. So develop that story, craft that message, and I think you'll be.
That's pretty exciting when everybody comes back into the room like that. All right. Well, I hope that breakout time was valuable. In fact, I'd like to know if it was valuable. So if we have any students that are still here in the room, can a student share, like, what was the most valuable takeaway from that time with the experts on our panel?
For me, it was the affirmation that my experiences will help me to be able to move on, and encouraging me to look at other things that I can do to enhance what I've already earned.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, anybody else? It's my teacher wait time right here.
I'd like to second that. I had the privilege of speaking with Anita and briefly with George, and both had very, very valuable information to share. And George and I were just speaking about reading and staying current, specifically about servant leadership and how important having an adequate education and understanding of that topic is for your career. And I found that to be very, very valuable, as it is something that's very important to me. And I know he might share more on that in this session, so I don't want to ruin it for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Keeps your mind in the right place when you focus that way. I don't know if this is exactly what you're talking about, but my mindset is my team wins, I lose. My team wins. I'm the one that accepts blame for anytime we fall short. That's me. The team wins. Anything else from our students? All right, panelists, any one last pearl of wisdom you want to share with the group?
Well, Rachel, I wanted to finish the thought before we got so rudely booted out of our room. I was saying that this particular read has stood the test of time, but it's Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People are the same today as they were 30 years ago when the book was written. But I would encourage everyone to have a copy of a few books, and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is one of them. But on that topic of servant leadership, to whom much is given, much is expected. I believe that's in the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. Might want to have a copy of that book with you too. But yeah, to whom much is given, much is expected, and that translates into the idea of servant leadership. Focus on being significant in the lives of others, and your success will come. Too many people focus on individual success, and I believe they end up, kind of sub-optimized, if you will, because success is just about you. If you focus on being significant and be significant in the lives of others, your coworkers, your family, your children, your church, your community, focus on being significant, because significance is about everybody else. And if you focus on that, your own personal success will come. So, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Thanks, George. Dean, go ahead.
Right along the same lines, continuous learning is important, but reading the right things to keep you in the right mindset. I'm going to go along with what George said. There's another great book. It's called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Anything by Jack Canfield is awesome. He did the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, but The Success Principles, it's almost a manual, if you will, on how to be successful in life and in business. And it goes hand in hand. So I like there was a question on here about how do you balance, work-life balance. A lot of the success principles, you'll find that he focuses on really being positive and being passionate in your own life, and that'll translate and everything else will come. So anything on Jack Canfield, but that book's a great one.
Thanks, Dean. Anita or Justin?
Yeah, I think one pearl of wisdom or advice is I agree with George and Dean, the stewardship of an organization and taking that like your own organization, your own responsibility is really important. And that goes back to those foundational items of being truthful, honesty, integrity. The pearl of wisdom that I have is when you're working with other people and working on that collaboration and breaking down the silos, and you need to be looking at when you're talking or making decisions or working on something, what's the upstream or downstream impact? Getting people involved and helping them to understand that, hey, we're working on something. We need to make sure we're taking care of X, Y, and Z, and I want to make sure you're aware of it. That communication and that collaboration is extremely important. And that relates to the significance. You're adding value and significance to the organization as an individual, but a collaborative individual looking at the organization as a whole versus as just as an individual. The other item that I do want to just briefly speak on is the understanding of perspective, people's perspective as you're working with them versus reality. Their perception is their reality. And you really have to be able to get yourself to a place to understand what their perception is versus what your intention is. And that is something critical in understanding how you're working with people and understanding each individual you're working with to be able to help make it a team and a collaborative effort. So, thank you.
All right, Justin.
Yeah, I'll add 2 more books to it, and these are longer reads, and these are more for long-term entrepreneurial mindset. But put The Tools of the Titans on your list, and The 4-Hour Work Week. Really great ones to start to think about efficiency. I said it in one of my breakouts, but have an hourly rate. Time is a non-renewable resource, right? So spend your time doing things that are advantageous to you. And when I think about that, it's challenge yourself, but really don't get bogged down in the hierarchy and the BS of what can be corporate America. With that being said, if you feel like you're in a rut, don't stay too long. I look back at my career nationwide. I stayed about 1.5 years too long. And I could feel it and I knew it. It was time to go, and I got scared because I didn't want to make a change. Always keep advancing, always keep challenging yourself, and you'll know if you've been in something for too long and need a change, you can feel it. Don't be afraid. With disruption comes opportunity, and with change becomes advancement. So that'd be my thoughts to you. And changing careers changing companies was the best thing I ever did when I did it.
Thanks, Justin. And I would like to take just a moment to thank all of the panelists for giving up time during your 12 o'clock hour, at least here on Eastern Standard Time, for those of us living in that time zone. Insights. I mean, I've learned things today, and I view myself as somebody who has enough experience to really be a successful professional. So I've learned a lot about continuing my own path forward, and I hope the students who have joined us today, as well as those who may be viewing this on a recorded session, because that's technology, it's how we roll. But I hope that this has been beneficial to you as well. So thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us as well.
Good luck, everyone.
And I just want to say, I want to once again, just thanks to Dr. Osborne for being here today, moderating this session for us. We truly appreciate your assistance today, and you've done a wonderful job leading this discussion. I also want to say thank you. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to our alumni panel. Thank you all for taking the time to be here with us to help mentor these recent UF 2020 grads. So we know that you have truly made a special impact on their career journey, and you've done so in great Oilers spirit. So I want to just make sure to say that before we all leave today. I'd also like to thank our graduates for being here. You gave up your time for this, and we so appreciate you being here. Please remember that the Alumni Office and the Center for Career and Professional Development are here for you always. And finally, thanks to everyone on our advancement team and the rest of the staff and ITS for working hard to make sure that this event was a success. We are recording these sessions, and so we hope to share these with other grads as well. So keep that in mind. And now I'll turn things over to Brad to say goodbye.
Yeah, well said. Again, I echo all of the gratitude to the alumni panel. And please know to all of the grads that are listening to this or are live right now, Center for Career and Professional Development is here to help. And however we can, whether it's like George, he had a great segue to say, keep your resume up to date. That's something that we can help with. Also interviewing skills, job search, all of that. That's what we do. And that's why we're here. And that's why we're helping you have lifetime services through the CCPD. So check us out. We can help.
Very good. All right, everyone. Goodbye. Thank you again for being here. We appreciate your time and we hope to see you all next time.
Go
Bye,
onward.
thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.